On an action-packed Saturday at Santa Anita, this week's Breeders' Cup Challenge preview focuses on the Awesome Again Stakes, a $300,000 win and you're in the Longines Classic division. Only 4 horses will be taking on the 3-5 program favorite, Maximum Security, who will be reunited with jockey Luis Saez at the 1.125 distance. His stablemate Improbable is next on the line at 8-5 to be ridden by Drayden Van Dyke. Others in the field are Midcourt from the John Sheriff stable, beaten only ahead by Maximum Security in the San Diego at Del Mar. Charlestown Classic winner Sleepy Eyes Todd, and Calbred Stakes winner Take the 101. Mr. Bailey, Maximum Security faces some of the same competition that he's been facing in California, namely Midcourt, but his primary rival appears to be the other Bob Baffert trained horse, Improbable. Maximum Security draws the outside post position, which would you would think would be a tactical advantage.
You would think, but this is interesting because both Baffert's horses run typically the same way. They're both forward, although Improbable probably is a little more comfortable stalking, but he needs an outside trip to be totally comfortable. Maximum Security will keep that outside trip. Look at every horse in the field has a little speed. The 101 from the inside has cheaper speed. He might show it the first 3/8 of a mile, but I think then he's going to be overtaken by Maximum Security and then ultimately Improbable. Midcourt, what does Midcourt do this time? He took the lead from Maximum Security early in the race at 1.16 a couple back. Didn't use those tactics last time. Now, whether he would have won or not, I don't know. But every horse in the field has some kind of speed. But here's what I expect. I expect the 101 to go to the lead from the inside and hold it for a while. Maximum Security is going to be right on him, maybe a neck off, and he's going to overtake him somewhere down the backside. Improbable will have moved out to a stalking position, and those are the 2 horses that will probably, be the 1-2 horses turning for home. Midcourt, it's a question mark. Who shows up? The real one or the one we saw last time? Does he ever even be a menace in the race? I'm not sure.
Exactly. And Victor Espinosa, who's the regular rider of Midcourt and who will ride him again on Saturday, has been quoted as saying that he never really knows how much speed Midcourt's going to show until the gates open. Sometimes he's on the lead. Sometimes he doesn't break that well. Last time he broke okay. He just didn't have speed. He didn't show the same speed as he. I know you're going to say something about Victor Espinosa. Go ahead.
Victor will tell you he doesn't have plans. He doesn't like to think too much, which is fine. He's been really successful doing it his way. But I kind of think he just breaks, and whatever the horse feels like doing, he does. I don't think he's going to make the horse do one thing or another.
So Baffert had originally said that he was considering running Improbable in the Jockey Club Gold Cup at Belmont Park. That race comes up on October the 10th, meaning only 4 weeks from the Breeders' Cup Classic. This race is a 6-week gap to the Classic, and ultimately he felt that this would be a better spot. But you talk about how times have changed, Jerry. What's interesting, when you look at the top 10 right now, and this is the Breeders' Cup Classic weekly top 10 vote, and you look at the horses that are being pointed for the Classic, right, and the gaps that they're going to have, the rest period they're going to have leading into the Classic. Tom's Day Todd will go into the Classic not having run since the Whitney. 14 weeks.
Okay.
Tis the Law, 9 weeks from the Kentucky Derby. By My Standards, 9 weeks and a day from the Ali Sheba. Global Campaign from his victory in the Woodward, 9 weeks. It's back in the day, not even in the not too distant past. I mean, if anyone had purposely gone into the Breeders' Cup Classic off a 9-week layoff, it would raise serious question marks whether the horse could be ready to run. And now it's what trainers plan by design.
I'm doing a cigar Zoom in a little while, and I was just going back, and it was like 3 weeks from the Jockey Club Gold Cup at 1.25 miles back to the Breeders' Cup Classic at 1.25 miles. They never thought anything about it. But look, one thing I wanted to point out, Improbable, his chances, I think, mostly had to do with how he behaves in the gate. Because we both know, and we've talked about it ad nauseum, that he is notoriously bad in there, or can be at least. And more than half the time he probably is. But at home, he's usually better. He's got the 2 posts. He's going to have to be in there with only 5 horses, not that long, but longer than others. So, his chances are usually defined on how well or not well his behavior is in the starting gate.
So there's a whole plethora of races at Santa Anita on Saturday that are Breeders' Cup Challenge win and you're in races, not just the Awesome Again. There's the Rodeo Drive on the grass. There's the races for 2-year-olds, the American Pharaoh and the Chandelier.
Yep.
Let's talk about the Chandelier just for a second. It's going to have the heaviest favorite probably on the entire card on Saturday. Princess Noor, another Bob Baffert trainee. In fact, he's got 3 of the 5 entrants in the Chandelier, but Princess Noor has had 2 lifetime starts. Victor Espinosa, coincidentally, riding her in both those races.
What his plan is.
A $1.35 million 2-year-old at the Ocala 2-year-olds training sale. And man, has she looked visually impressive in both of her races, both at Del Mar.
Okay, you and I, for years, we look at races pretty much the same way. And then you go a little deeper with the numbers. I'll glance at them. Watching her run and win, I thought that her buyer speed figures would be much higher than they are. They're not off the charts by any means. They're okay for 2-year-olds. Anytime they get low 80s, I think that's fine. She had 76, 79 in both the races. But God,
yeah.
she's winning so easily. But here's the thing: at 2 to 5, I think she'll win. She's got the inside post. She's got the most speed probably in the race, and I think Victor will use it and just take it gate to wire. But anytime you have a 2-year-old stretching out for the first time, 2 to 5 is a short price to take. And her pedigree doesn't scream like she's just going to relish 2 turns. Her dam, she's a smoke show. She never ran beyond a mile. She's basically a turf mare. She never ran beyond a mile. But their Giant's Causeway, who is the sire of Not This Time, her sire, gets probably all the distance she needs. But I think she'll probably win fairly easy, but it's a short price to take.
Look at Jerry Bailey, looking for value, looking for gambling value. How about you?
Yeah. If I bet it'll be $20, and it won't be on a 3 to 5 shot.
So about the speed figures. Now, I obviously am part of the buyer speed figure team, and
right.
Full disclosure.
You are the buyer speed figures.
Well, one of them, yeah. So sometimes after we make the figures, we can go back in hindsight, weeks later, months later, sometimes, just very shortly after a horse runs, when horses start to run back again from that day. And we can legitimately say, oh, it's possible that this fig could have been faster, right? The way horses are running back out of that particular race and out of other races on the same card. I went back and looked at both of Princess Noor's races. And on both days at Del Mar, those speed figures are rock solid.
Okay.
And I also was surprised that she didn't get any better numbers than 76 and 79. As you pointed out, I mean, she won so easily in both races. A lot of times, and I think we've talked about this, one of the mistakes that a lot of handicappers make, is speaking in generalities, is when they see a horse win easily, assuming, oh, the horse could have run a lot faster. If she had just been asked, the horse could have run 5 lengths faster. Oftentimes, that's not the case because good horses are competitive. Good horses are trying hard, even if the jockey isn't wailing away with them on the whip. I mean, that is better than anybody else. In this case, though, it's not just that Princess Noor won easily. She was actually being geared down as she neared the wire. So there's almost no doubt that she could have run faster in both of those races than she actually did.
I'm looking forward to watching her because if she's that impressive going 2 turns, then she's convinced me that she'll be special later on. Forget about the Breeders' Cup, but even next year at a 1 and 1/8. So, I'm curious to watch her run. She certainly is full of talent for what she's done.
The Chandelier is a win and you're in the Juvenile Fillies division. It'll be run as the 3rd race on the card at Santa Anita Saturday, post time 1:35 p.m. Pacific. The Awesome Again will be the 10th race on the 11-race card, scheduled for 5:14 Pacific time. Of course, the Breeders' Cup races will be held this year at Keeneland Racecourse in Lexington, Kentucky. The Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies will be run Friday, November 6th as part of the Future Stars Friday program. The Longines Classic will be the final Breeders' Cup race on Saturday, November 7th.